we got to come together and start building a community where we're watching what we're putting in our mouths.
You're watching the Spotlight Network. Starring Hollywood's newsman, Logan Crawford.
They now believe a single member.
He works with TV and film legends. And now, Logan's shining the spotlight on the world's top emerging authors and creators.
International were abducted.
This is Spotlight with Logan Crawford. Streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
What happens when the system meant to protect whistleblowers becomes the very thing that destroys their life? I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we are talking to a terrific author. His name is Brooke Webb Jr., and he is joining us to discuss his amazing book. It is called Unjust Gaggle of Gavels, Volume 1. It is his explosive account of retaliation, corruption, and civil liberties violations tied to Oklahoma's medical laboratory industry. In this revealing conversation and his revealing book, you will learn about one man's fight to expose a years-long campaign involving powerful institutions, high-stakes litigation, and devastating personal loss. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Bookside Press for helping us put him in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. William, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
This story exposes not just individuals, but the state itself, along with agencies like OIG, HHS, and the IRS. What led you to believe the scope of the situation was far bigger than a private business dispute?
The main thing is that it's where it happened. My kids go to an influential Catholic school, Cassidy. And so obviously the governor, everybody of power goes there. I never thought of using my business for that type of, growth, but at the end of the day, I try to get a good education for my kids because I grew up in a public school system. We were blessed, we've been in the medical field 20 years. My wife's been a nurse for 28 years. Hers constant support and, teaching me the nursing side of it and me learning the lab side. We became a good powerhouse. She's a wonderful person. So, it took a team here and we built a great thing. But the main thing is we were destroyed by our school, our own community. I grew up with nothing. I was very poor. You can look at my history, nothing. We grew up extremely poor. But the problem is that you are what you are and you can work hard for it. Joined the military, met my wife when I got stationed here in Oklahoma. And like I said, I got blessed. She pushed me into the medical field, and then we started building our journey from there. What I didn't expect is that people to see whenever you're doing good, making a good living. I didn't expect people to think of that as an kind of let's attack them. We were making over 100,000 a day, sometimes 150,000 a day. I mean, we had more money we knew what to do with. Labs, vacations. Obviously, I got my kids everything they wanted. I didn't try to hide anything because I earned it. God blessed it to me. I busted my hump. I was doing good for the community, so I was rewarded. I can tell you that in all my years in the medical field, I never charged any customer anything other than the insurance. I always wrote millions off each year. So I constantly gave back to the community. I think what broke our heart is the fact that our school let us down. They used that as a weapon, and they've been hiding it all these years. And instead of admitting guilt and fault and we can all get on with our lives, we have to hide it because of the people that are involved, kind of like what we're seeing today. There's corruption everywhere. So, I mean, the great thing is that it's what led through it. And so it's not all bad. I mean, you can always look at the worst of everything or try to say, hey, what positive came out of it? And so obviously there's a lot of great positive out of it because I was working in a lab 15, 16 hours a day. Obviously I didn't see my family. So, I mean, by losing everything, I got to see my kids. I got to watch my kids grow up. The things that were important. I mean, I'm not 309 pounds dying of cancer. I mean, obviously that money was not doing good for me because it was destroying me. I was eating myself to death, drinking myself. So, I mean, and it showed. So, I believe that it probably did me some good losing everything. So, I like to look at there's always opportunity, the glass being full.
Yeah.
What does break my heart is that we developed some very futuristic technology. We were on the cusp because I worked along with the best companies like Thermo Fisher, and supported all their best technologies. I wanted everything that was first on the market so we could help create things. What broke my heart is that we were just out getting ready to basically uncover the truth behind the human body, cancer, and everything else. Because what we've realized is the medical system has had their handcuffs for years. And it's pretty simple. So our body comprises of 30 trillion cells. Okay. So you have to realize 30 trillion cells, 200 plus different cell types. Okay. That's our body. And that's what we're not taught in medical school. And you have to realize, obviously, if you're a bigger person, more cells, smaller person, small cells. But you have to realize that we're made up of cells. And when you look at it from the perspective that how we're taught to look at it from a lab, this world makes no sense, because how can our cells that God created for us work together to create us, and do this? But yet we can't even work together in this world to make, what I want to say, we should be making heaven on earth. I mean, if God created earth for us, why are we not making heaven on earth? Why are we making everything and using it for the wrong ways? I mean, God created everything on this planet, but yet we choose to use it in the most nefarious ways and then demonize it. Humans were the problem, and that's what's sad. We got a war going on right now. We're the problem. I'm a disabled veteran. I'll tell you, the fact that we had UFOs fall down in the 40s and 60s, and we're not, and the fact they exist, we built over them. Area 51, we know about all these things. The fact that it exists, realize that there's better technologies out there we're not currently using.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay with these idle threats, and then you look at Kellogg's cereal, and they have two different brands of cereal that they're feeding us, right?
Yeah.
You have some that go out of the country here. So we know the difference. But the problem is our cells are toxified. So you have all these cells that create you. And what they don't teach you is your cells have healthy zones and unhealthy zones. And right now, every American that we live their cells are aging unhealthy. Look at it. We're aging faster than we were 30, 40, 50 years ago. Why? What's simple? It's what's in our food. Back in the early days, whenever I was a young kid, we had copper in our plumbing. They took copper out because copper is an enriched mineral that requires for our health. I mean, you'll see a lot of people with hair start turning gray. What? Lack of copper. But copper is also very sterilic. It kept bacteria from growing in your house. So we know the truth, but we've been choosing wrong. And we're not talking about a system that just all of a sudden overnight failed us. I mean, this has been built for before I was born. I mean, the fact that you have a CIA, FBI, people that I've already, like you said, IRS, the fact that we can't even talk about the JFK, obviously we're involved. Obviously it's a government. So, I mean, the fact that we realize it, nothing good comes of it. I mean, so when you look at it, can't expect us to not know. In today's AI, let's be real, we can no longer run away from the facts. We have AI, we can ask it the right questions, get the right answer. The question is, are we asking it the right questions? And no, they don't want us to. We're not taught that. So, but you have three different cell types. Let's get back to the body because it's really beautiful, and I can connect it in a way that most people has never talked about. So, everybody's aging right now. And so what we're doing, we're eating 3 meals a day, sometimes 4, 5, and 6. Go back and look who developed that food pyramid. Rockefeller, Carnegie. I mean, all the big guys, okay? They created a system for you, but not for them. But this is great because it's good science that's going to balance the board for everybody, because you got to realize is that nobody knows this. Even our leaders right now, they don't know what I'm about to tell you, because everybody's getting old and dying. If everybody's getting old and dying, then nobody is doing the right thing by keeping their cells in a healthy level. So there's things that people don't know about us. If you look at it from the way God created you and you believe in God, then you have to realize that you are a spirit, you contain a soul, and you're in an avatar body. When you go to sleep at night, you die, you wake up every day, and you get the chance to do it again. But so we have these abilities. The human body's amazing, but it's what we're giving. And right now we're living in man's world created by man's economy. And all the resources are provided us by the elites and man.
Mhm.
That's why we're getting all this. But again, back to the science.
Mhm.
Our body has a healing zone, and we call it autophagy, and which is the first stage. And then we have ketosis. Okay.
Mhm.
When your body's in a state of ketosis, your body's healing. Your cells are no longer dividing. Look at me. I'm 52 years old. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't look 52.
Right.
I was 309 pounds down of cancer. The fact is that by fasting and praying, and I'll explain all that, by fasting, you put your body in a state of ketosis. The only way to get there is through fasting. And so most people say that it takes 24 hours. There's a lot of argument because when you stop eating, your body has to go through a cycle when it's through digesting food. And so as it's digested, and that's where you start going into the autophagy stage. And then finally, you're in ketosis. Now, ketosis is a stage where your body is healing its cells. This is where nobody in this world's ever at. And so when you're healing your cells, some scientists will say that it runs the 96 hours. Some say it goes beyond that. But what we can obviously agree that, hey, at least we're in a healthy zone. How healthy? What? We don't know because we've never been there. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I've been there for the last 5, 6, 7 years because look at me. I'm not 309 pounds. I'm not dying of cancer. And I'm still living in the world that's provided with all these poisons in our food every day. But we had to detox ourselves. And yes, I got answers to these. I'm not just saying, hey, this is it. We're cooked. The solutions are simple, but you have to realize the science in the human body and how we were created. And then we can learn out how to get beyond this, right? And so whenever you're in a healing mode, your body's in ketosis, your body's constantly healing. Now you also have to realize that your body is creating cells by the minute. So that's the question nobody ever asked. What type of cells are your body creating right now? And that answer is simple. What have you put in your mouth lately? See what I'm getting at? And that sort of thing is if we look at these things logically, then the answers are simple. What you put in, what you get out. And you know where else it talks about fasting that's been taken out of the Bible? Matthew 17:21, right? It says prayer and fasting. And so prayer, I'll get into it a little bit later, but the fasting part is simple. God told you fasting, don't eat, put your body in a state of ketosis. And then also, if you go look in the Bible, my kids bought me all these different Bibles because I like researching different ones and finding out what's there, what's not, who's talking about what, because all Bibles are written by man. And so when you look at it, you'll think some things are missing and some things are important. But when you look at it is that we're also being persecuted by a life that they say we're not supposed to live because of what happened before we were here. That doesn't make sense. John 3:16 says strictly there, if you believe, you will have eternal life. It doesn't say eternal life after death. It says eternal life. Yeah. So we have the choice every day to be stewards of this earth, but we got to make the right choices. And so it is the power of God, our creator. And you got to realize that the books only take you so far. And you got to realize, the last guy that had the secret sauce to life, we killed him, Jesus, Yeshua. Yeah. Let's think about that. Dude, he was born, he grew up, but what we don't talk about is how he went through Egypt and learned from a lot of people that had a lot of ancient secrets on how to heal the human body. He came back. He says, hey, look what I've learned. And, the priest and all that, obviously he had more power than they did. So they saw him as fear and they killed him. Yeah. I mean, so we can ask the right questions. I mean, we're making fun of it today. So obviously, they tried to unalive me twice last year. For what reasons, I don't know. Probably because, I wrote the book and I'm poking at them. Yeah. But the key is until we accept who and what we are, we can't get beyond this craziness. I mean, everything's a game. We've been played all this time. Magnetic energy is what our human body requires. It's what this earth is. Yeah. All right. But we choose to make other energy and sell it to you because this is free and that's created by the elites. Yeah. So
William, we're down to like the last minute.
Sorry.
No worries. Everything you said has been fascinating. So that's why I did not interrupt. But I just want to ask you this one question. What do you hope readers take away from your story? What do you hope they take away from this book?
What I hope they take away is I want to make heaven on earth. Yes, the book should show nothing more than my past. I have had experiences in the past, and those amount to skills, no more, no less. I would love for anybody that wants to help me fix this world, reach out to me, text me. My cell number is 572-271-0388. There's no secrets. At the end of the day, let's come together here. We're in some bad times, but we got to start acknowledging the truth. I mean, we have people that are our researchers are dying, and we're talking about it right now. Why are they dying? Because smart people die. People with this knowledge die. It is what it is. Sorry,
Yeah.
facts are there. But dude, I'm telling you, it's that simple. Don't eat, fast, believe, and then quit eating the poisons. Watch what you're putting in your mouth. You know, your
Right.
cells have the biggest feet in your feet. So detox, ionization foot baths, get the toxins out. It's real simple, but we got to come together and start building a community where we're watching what we're putting in our mouths.
Wonderful.
So
Great advice. Mom always told us you are what you eat.
that
And
is
you've
right.
taken it beyond that. If you want to have a long life, good life, a healthy life, it is wonderful advice. And beyond, of course. This book is terrific, folks. It is called Unjust Gaggle of Gavels, Volume 1. It is William Brooke Webb Jr.'s deeply personal and highly charged account of building a successful laboratory business, becoming a whistleblower, and then enduring years of retaliation, legal warfare, and violations of his civil liberties. More than a true crime-style expose, it is a call for accountability, transparency, and courage in the face of powerful institutions. William, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your time, your insight, your candor, and the wonderful work you've done on this book. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time.